Ocracoke. The ferry ride was kind of cool. I'd never been on a ferry before. And this is the second time, I think, in my life. I'm trying to think. I think this is only the second time in my life that I have been on an inhabited island, a true island. You know, not like connected by roads, that is. The last time was when I went to Haiti when I was like 8 years old. So it's been almost 20 years. I'm 26, 25, 26. I'm 26 now. There's the Atlantic. Well, now the sand dunes are up. Can't quite see it. Maybe. Can you see it? If you can see it. If you can, that's the Atlantic. And then on that side is the Sound. That's kind of the cool thing about these islands is they're so narrow. Like yesterday when I was kayaking in the Sound, I could hear the waves crashing on just the other side of the road, basically. Like if you would walk up on top of the dunes, you could look out to one side and see the Sound, and look out to the other side and see the Atlantic. So anyway, there's a long road to actually get from the ferry into town, and then once I get there, I'll figure out where the lighthouse is, and we'll go from there. Well, I went to the Ocracoke Museum, and I learned a little bit about, island life. Actually, most of what I learned is from the young lady that was working the gift shop desk. I was asking her, like, how long you lived out here. She said she lived here her whole life. And there's the lighthouse. Well, I've already passed it by. It's a short lighthouse, so you can't see it from like over the tops of houses and stuff. Anyway, yeah, she was telling me about how the groceries, they don't have a very good selection of stuff actually on the island because it's only connected by ferry to the mainland and to the other islands. So it's kind of insular, but because of tourism, a lot of the local culture has been lost, like the brogue, which is apparently what they call the local dialect. Hoi toi. It's kind of it's like there's what's that little Tangiers Island in Virginia has that kind of like an island dialect that sounds a lot older because of less like less influenced from mainstream American cultures. Anyway, yeah, she was saying that she goes off the island like once a month in the off season and twice a month in season when there's tourism around. But like Yeah, from what she was saying, it kind of sucks living on an island. You know, people think it's cool. They come, they move here, and then within 2 years, they're like, I gotta get out of here and like live a normal life. I gotta go back. Which, you know, that kind of makes sense to me. Like, I think it would be cool to live in the Outer Banks, maybe, but I would not want to live in like a tourist town, like where everything is tourism based. And I don't think I would want to live on an island where, in order to get like decent groceries, you know, decent selection of groceries, I've got to get on a ferry for an hour. And then I left the museum, and what is this? Oh, they're turning left. I left the museum and I went to the lighthouse, and yeah, the lighthouse is cool. It's short. It's kind of plain. It's just a little white, you know, tower. And then when I was there, on a little walkway, there was a family of 5, 3 boys, mom and a dad, and the oldest boy looked like and talked like he had like Asperger's. So let's see. And he was saying, like, you know, why can't we go inside? Why can't we climb the lighthouse? He wanted to climb the lighthouse. And I had seen on Google that, like, I had seen on Google that the reason that you can't climb it is because this spiral staircase is not safe. They put it in the 50s. And then one of the other boys was like, do you own the lighthouse? Because I had answered the question, and all I said was, the spiral staircase isn't safe to climb. And so this kid is like, do you own the lighthouse? And I said, yeah, this is my lighthouse. I just come out here every now and then and check on it. And I looked up and it said, yep, looks good. And they laughed, and then they were like, can we go inside though? Can we see the staircase? And I said, no, I don't have the key with me. And then the older boy with autism, he thought I was serious. He was like, so this is your lighthouse? And I was like, no, I was kidding. I was... and then that family, they started to walk away because it's like, well, we saw the lighthouse, you know, we just walk up and we get to see the outside of it. And then I kind of had the same thought. I got a couple of photos, so I'll go. And then as I was following them down the walkway, there was a Park Service lady. I don't know, she had like a khaki uniform on. She looked like a park ranger. And a fella too. And they were, and I heard them say like, oh, she has the key, we can go inside. And the kids immediately turned around and were like, yeah, let's go inside. And I was like, oh, that's cool, I get to see the inside of it. So we went back, and there was like a couple dozen people crammed us all into this little lighthouse. It wasn't very big inside. Wasn't a lot of space to move around, and the lady was answering a couple of questions. And then, so I got a photo of like the oil drum and up the spiral staircase, you know, looking up. And then the fella ranger was like, there's a storm coming, like, we gotta, everybody round up, get out of here. because apparently people have got hit by lightning in a lighthouse before, and it's not good. He said he got hit by lightning once, and I wanted to stop and be like, "Did you see God? Are you kidding me? Like, you've been hit by lightning, and you live to tell a tale, and then you just casually mention it in conversation like that, brother. You're built different." But I didn't say anything about it, because I was like, well, if he's going to treat it that casually, then I will too. And so yeah, he was kind of hurting us out, like, all right, time to go. It's not safe. And sure enough, here it is, it's raining and there's lightning and thunderstorm. But it was cool. I'm on Ocracoke Island right now, which I believe is the only inhabited island in the Outer Banks that you cannot reach by road. You have to go by ferry. Looking across the Atlantic Ocean right now. To the south, there's more islands, but they are mostly uninhabited. There's one just to the south, Portsmouth, which used to be inhabited, but it was abandoned in the 70s. And you can no longer live there. The village on Portsmouth has been preserved as a national park. They say this place has the darkest night skies on the entire East Coast. To the north is Hatteras Island. Ocracoke is interesting. Because the village has become so dominated by tourism that there's really not much to appreciate the place for what it is on its own. I came here interested in the local culture and history. I saw the lighthouse, I saw the Ocracoke Preservation Society Museum, I saw the Ocracoke Discovery Center. I talked to a couple of locals, but Ocracoke seems to have lost its identity to tourism, which is very sad. I need to make sure I don't get lost and forget where I came to the beach at, because these dunes, they all kind of look the same. Anyway, Ocracoke is beautiful. It's a nice place to visit. I was hoping to drive to the southern point and see if I could kayak across the inlet to Portsmouth, but You need permits to drive down that way. Let's see, I'm following my tracks back. Okay. Yeah, there's where I came in at, so I'm gonna... That's not much of a mark, and I won't be able to see it in the dark. Let me see if I can... Oh, what's that? There's a light way out there. Is that a ship? That must be the lighthouse. That must be the Ocracoke lighthouse. Yep, I think that's what that is. That's cool. They say you can see it for 14 miles. So I guess I'm not quite 14 miles away. Anyway, this is the last time that I will touch the Atlantic Ocean for probably a long time. Even though I live on the East Coast, I live several hours from the actual ocean. Actually, only a few hours, but it's hard to make the time to actually get out and see it when you've got a life to live. But here comes the water, and I'm wearing my New Balance, so I don't want to get those wet, but I just want to... There we go. I touched it. Good enough. And I'm going back home tomorrow. So I said that would be the last time for a while that I touched the Atlantic. That was not true. I decided to get up and watch the sunrise, which will be in about 10 minutes. And it's very windy. Don't know if you can hear me. But the lighthouse is still on. Or no, that looks more like, I don't know, maybe that is the lighthouse. There was another light to the north. Not sure what that would be. I don't think Cape Hatteras, I don't think Cape Hatteras Lighthouse is close enough. And in fact, I don't think that one is operational. I don't know, maybe it is. It's under construction. Maybe it's still operational while it's under construction. I don't know. But we are gonna wait for the sunrise. That's what those lights were. I thought it might be a car. And sure enough it was. Not the lighthouse. But I think what I saw last night was the lighthouse. Well, according to the weather app, the sun should be rising right now. And I was hoping that it would shine through the clouds, but it looks like the clouds are a little bit too thick. One last thing I wanted to do before I officially head home is see if I can see from one side of the island to the other. And yep, you can. There's the Pamlico Sound. And there's the Atlantic Ocean. So this is my souvenir. I got this little jar that just says Memories and Outer Banks on it at the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse gift shop. This shell on top, I'm planning on super gluing it to the lid. I think that'll look kind of, I don't know, I think it'll look neat, but it's not big enough to fit inside the jar. So anyway, this one is from Ocracoke, and then inside the sand is from a beach near the area where the Roanoke Lost Colony was established. The rest of the shells, except for one, are from Pea Island. And let's see, that weird shiny shell there, kind of silvery, that is from Ocracoke. And then that piece of brown glass was on top of the sand dune where I stood to look at from the sea to the Sound, the Atlantic and the Pamlico on either side. And then that thing there, if I can get a good view of it. Let's see. There you go. You can kind of see that. It's a nail that the blacksmith at the Roanoke Lost Colony live exhibit made for me. So, yep, that's my souvenir.